What is the Xcelerator Platform from Siemens PLM? Let's talk about that next. Okay, so this week, Siemens PLM, or Siemens Digital Industries as they're now known, they just got renamed, they announced the availability of something called the Xcelerator Platform. And it doesn't have an E, it just has an X at the front of it, like Expedition, which is the board design ECAD solution from Mentor Graphics, which is now part of Siemens as well. So what's the deal? What is this thing about? Well, there's several kind of layers to kind of understand about this platform. So let's talk about the lowest layer first. So that lowest layer is taking all of these solutions that Siemens has been offering for a while and making their capabilities available as web services. Okay, so when you talk about NX, Team Center, and they're expanding this effort. I expect it to go off into Expedition and Capital and Sim Center and everything that they make available. So they're making those capabilities available as web services. And that's interesting just by itself because suddenly Siemens and partners can then mash up capabilities from each and kind of combine them into apps that can be made for specific roles. It's also interesting because a web service from one application could be called within another one. So for example, you can call a Team Center capability up in NX. And there's lots of applications for that, for configuration and maybe moving it over to Sim Center and integration back and forth across those products. So that's really interesting by itself. The second layer that's really interesting though is Mendix. So Mendix is a low-code, this is the term they always use, a low-code application development platform. So what that means is it's visual programming where you can kind of drag and drop different capabilities and make an application yourself. And you don't have to code at all. You don't know how to write software. So you can have business users actually create those applications without getting IT involved, which can remove a barrier from getting business applications out and into the enterprise. Right? Suddenly it becomes very interesting because you can make your own stuff that can be used here, there, and everywhere. So that's interesting, number one, from a perspective of creating an app for a user. It's also interesting from a perspective of IoT. So as part of this platform, you have MindSphere, which can connect to all sorts of different devices. It can take data in from it, can do all sorts of analysis, and Mendix can be used to create applications for IoT stuff as well, to work on that data. So this is really interesting. So that's the Xcelerator Platform. It probably has a little bit more capability here and there, but in general, that's the idea. Whole bunch of web services. You can create applications. You can do it for IoT. You can plug it into MindSphere. And it's kind of the go-forward product strategy for Siemens PLM. And what's the big deal there? So it's interesting because users can create their own stuff. Business users can create their own stuff. But also it's really interesting because the same platform can be used to create IoT types of applications and actually all sorts of digital twin stuff. So not user-oriented stuff, but stuff that runs autonomously. And that's pretty fascinating. I haven't really seen that out in the marketplace today, kind of both needs being addressed. So that's it. That's Xcelerator. Take care. Talk soon.